with another review, and this time we are reviewing Janet Jackson Docuseries. Now this basically this is basically a documentary about the life and times of Janet Jackson from when she was a young girl to who she is right now. It goes through her life, it goes through like her relationship with her brothers, especially Michael, her relationships with her husbands and the men that she related. Even goes through the Super Bowl of, Janet Jackson when, her breast got exposed. So this it goes through her music, and one thing I will say, this is a very well shot documentary. This is a very, I don't know if there's going to be any more documentary series. As far as how this was rolled out, it was very good. If you're a big Michael Jackson fan, she mentions Michael's a lot, of course, because she was very close to Michael. She even said, I was the closest with Michael. You get a lot, there's like 4 episodes. So, in the first one, you get her starts up until she's like about 16. So it goes her being on the Jackson 5 variety show to her being on Good Times, and then it gets to her being on Jackson 5, her being on a Jackson 5 variety show, her being on Fame, and then and Good Times and all that other stuff. You get how she's growing up, and you get see how her relationship with not just her and Michael, but her and Joe Jackson, the father, and how Joe was like, oh, you're gonna be. I don't think like Joe was trying to compete with Michael, but I think he knew that he had a star in Janet Jackson, and that's basically what he was trying to turn her into, was a star. So that first episode, you talk about that, but it's funny about that first episode is because you could tell when she was older, because I think her first 2 albums really did badly, like they flopped. I think this is Pleasure Principle Janet Jackson, so you got all that other stuff, and like Joe Jackson did everything for her, and it's like he wrote the songs for her. All she had to do was sing, all the dance moves and all that other stuff, so it flopped. Around episode 2, it really gets into her being married to one of the Chico DeBarge, and Chico DeBarge, who I call the inventor of light-skinned people. That's a stupid run-on joke that I always have. I know there was light-skinned people before Chico DeBarge, but every time I look at you, I always say this stupid joke like Chico DeBarge invented light skin. Alright? Even though Prince was out way before, it was just like, but Prince is just an androgynous. The DeBarge, they invented light skin in this. Everything, to me, the joke that like you have light skin jokes about is the DeBarge. So you get into like where she's with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, who people have known her for so far, put her best type of music. You got Control, Rhythm Nation. I think they was talking about Rhythm Nation, and a little bit of Velvet Rope. One thing I will say this, Janet Jackson, she got some of the best album covers. If you really look at some of her album covers, she got some of the best, especially Control and Rhythm Nation. Those are some of the most dopest album covers you will ever see. And you can tell like the whole Pleasure Principle Janet to Control Janet, like she's more loose, she's more modern. And or at least during that time, she was just more modern. She was the it factor. She looked like she was in control, like she was. I didn't know she was married like 3 times. I didn't know. So the first, the first marriages with the DeBarges. The first marriages with the DeBarges, and I think it was Chico DeBarge. I forgot. Was one of the DeBarges, and the second is Renee. I like that they had a lot of film that you didn't see between her and Renee and all that stuff, because he was a film dude, and like he recorded a lot of stuff with them. You could see that they they was good for each other and all that other stuff, and like even like that whole iconic photo shoot where she was topless, but she had her breast covered by hands, and that was by Renee and all that other stuff. You could tell like them two was like they was meant for each other. A lot of that is like a lot of those episodes, a little bit of episode 3 they talk about that, but that's when they usually get into the divorce, and after she gets divorced, she like starts being this mega pop star, and then they get into her dating Jermaine Dupri while also talking about the Super Bowl. Now, a lot of people, I think they had some things about, she's obviously she had to talk about it, but you can tell she's over it. And she don't really, like, it's a bad part of her life. She doesn't really blame Justin. She said Justin wanted to speak up, but she told her no. So that was really on Janet. She was blacklisted from the Grammys and all that other stuff. They did her wrong. Jermaine Dupri, he was on the Grammy Council. And he was like, I stepped down because, you know, what they did was great. That was good on Jermaine Dupri. And, you know, they got into Jermaine Dupri and them didn't work out. And Jermaine Dupri tried to slyly say, I cheated on other women while I was with Janet. He was like, a lot of women that wasn't looking at him was looking at him because I was dating Janet Jackson. So he was fucking other bitches other than Janet Jackson. Let's be real with that. I will say this. Her third husband with the billionaire, you don't hear much from him. They barely graze about her. I still don't know what Janet Jackson's child looked like. I don't even know if she had a boy or girl. That's how private that is. And I would like to know more about that. But they go through her hits. And if you go through her hits, it's just it's a lot of good hits. You get your It's All For You, Till It's Gone, your Rhythm Nation, your Controls, and all that other stuff. To her still doing tours at 50.
Lately I've been.
And you know, it even touch on the death of Michael Jackson, how she was on Tyler Perry's Why Did I Get Married. Also, before I get to that, the Poetic Justice, she talked about Tupac, and she said there was chemistry there, but she was still married to Renee there, and she talked about that. I guess, I don't know, that, you know, I guess it was a thing with her and Tupac and all that other stuff. I'm not saying it was, but I guess there was a little chemistry. It's like, take it who you believe. Do you believe Janet's side? Because there's two sides. So you either take Janet's side or you take Tupac's side, whichever side you want. You know, we wasn't there, so I'm not really just focused on that. But, you know, she do go through Poetic Justice, how that, that movie needed to happen, or to, you know, help further her career and help further Rhythm Nation. Her on Why Did I Get Married, and because that was after the whole Nipplegate and her being blacklisted. A lot of people wasn't touching her except for Tyler Perry. When Tyler Perry bring up for Why Did I Get Married, he was like, I wrote this role specifically and thought Janet Jackson. So that was really good of him. And then during that, they grazed on it. They talk about it, but you know, they don't really say a lot about it. But you know, this was during the death of Michael Jackson. I think you get how she felt about that and all that other stuff, but like I said, it is her documentary, so I think it'll be more about her. But I did feel like she could have went into deeper about how she felt about the death of Michael Jackson and how it really fucked her family up. Catherine, the mother, didn't want to talk about it at all. Episode 4, it wraps it up. You know, to stand up where she at now and all that stuff is her having a baby and you know, living her life at 50, still going on tour and all that stuff, and people still loving her and all that stuff. It was a good documentary. It was well produced, it was well shot. Some of the things that you wondered, she did answer, her having a secret baby and all that other stuff, and the Nipplegate, the death of Michael Jackson, what happened with her, Jermaine Dupri, all that. She talked about it. She didn't she was very open about it and, you know, very sincere, but you could tell she didn't tell you everything. But I don't think you don't need to know everything about it, but she told you what she needed to tell you, and to me that was cool. Overall, I recommend you go ahead and watch this. Take some time out your day because it is 4 episodes. If you try, I binge watched all of it, so it's one of those things where it's just I liked it. I think it was a good documentary. I think it hits on all cylinders, and I think there was a lot to, especially if you're a Janet Jackson fan, if you grew up loving Janet Jackson, you will like this as well. Let me know what y'all think. How did y'all feel about it? Till then, my name is Oscino Fly, and I'm out. Peace.
Fancy ass man wear glove of rings, flying around town in a tub of wings. Found out how to make love to fiends. He mixing that fudge with the drug of dreams. She too teenage to have a drug of choice, but she fuck with that Royce like she love Detroit. She rollin'.
Pharaoh. Aha!